Convergence is a game that I've played on this channel before, and I did it about several months ago after some new content for the game came out. And now, here I am, several months later, with even more new content for the game that I wanted to get my hands on and show you. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love supporting indie developers. Independent artists and creators deserve so much love for making their work public, and I want to show them that I support what they're after. In this new update of Convergence, players are finally able to enter the bar that's in the lower level of the base. Upon entering, you'll find a man who wants to renovate the bar, but could use some help from the player. He gives you a list of tools that he needs in order to finish, and then you're on your way to collect them. Now, these items, if I understand it correctly, can be grabbed on any of the playable levels and is pretty much just a game of RNG. So after getting my list of items, I started hopping into a few raids. Or levels? Or I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Now, one of the things that I love most about Convergence is its atmosphere. It's pretty similar to Into the Radius, and the game overall feels slightly more forgiving and approachable when you compare the two. Since the last video that I did on Convergence, I played through it quite a bit in order to get some new weapons and gear, so that the next time I made a video on it, I would have more firepower to make sure that I can actually show you any of the new content that came out. So, with a new silenced pistol and a couple of new primary weapons, we headed into our search for the tools. Searching for the tools wasn't necessarily difficult by any means, since they seemed to spawn on any level, no matter how difficult it is. I mainly searched through the garage co-op during the day and the bunker at night. Both of those levels contain bandits as the only enemies that you will come across. The most difficult part of the search was actually the RNG elements that came into play. You see, certain objectives in this game will have their spawn rates change depending on how many missions you have done in order to accomplish it. For example, let's say you have an objective to come across a hunter stash, which is marked with a gas mask on the wall near where it's located. This is an objective that you will come across early on in the game. Now, in that objective early in the game, you will have to find it on one of the specific maps. And if you play a certain number of levels without one spawning or without finding it, it will eventually guarantee a spawn and an explosive nearby to get access to it. There are other missions in the game that work with this kind of spawning mechanic, but some of them include spawning certain types of enemies. Now, that's a very nice and a very handy mechanic, and I love that about the game, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it applies to every individual quest that you will come across. The quest to find 5 different specific tools, I don't think was one of them. However, one of the newer pieces of content added does help the player with this if they need it. If a player is struggling to find something that they need for a quest, they have the option to approach this shady dealer in the base, whose inventory refreshes once a day. This dealer typically sells items that are needed for a player's quest, but at quite a high cost. On a completely unrelated note, he was finally selling something that I had spent hours trying to find across all of the different levels, so that's pretty cool. Now, with all of that in mind, finding the first few tools wasn't very difficult. I was able to find 4 of the 5 tools that I needed across one single play session. I found the hammer, the pliers, the screwdriver, and the wrench. Now, what I didn't know during that first session was just how hard it was going to be to find a paintbrush. What I actually ended up doing in order to save all of you some time and to save some storage space on my computer was to actually stop recording, and over the course of the next 2 to 4 hours of playtime just trying to find it on my own. After another hour or 2 of searching, I finally found the paintbrush, but I wasn't recording. But I did start recording as soon as I brought it back to the base. Now, upon gathering all of these tools, Mityai, or however you say his name, will tell you to come back later and he will have the bar ready to go. So I took one quick trip to an underground bunker and came back to see what was new. After walking through the door, I saw a new expanded room that came with new items, new NPCs, and a brand new quest line to give you access to a weapon that I believe will be very beneficial when hunting demons in this game. I walked over to the bar and talked with Mityai, who told me that if I came across certain food items or bottles, that I should sell them to him because he will give me a higher pay than the main trader upstairs. And, in order to test the new drinking mechanic, I had to buy some moonshine and down the entire thing. Now, this footage doesn't necessarily show it in the best way, but the mechanic was done well enough in the way that it affects your vision inside the headset that I actually had to make sure I was standing steady in real life. I'm not sure if this mechanic has any benefit to the player, but I suppose if anyone wants to roleplay as a drunk. And after finishing that quest and gathering all of the materials, I finally had a new quest line to tackle. Once you start this quest line, you will be able to unlock the brand new flamethrower. But I don't want to spoil the entire thing for you, so you just might have to go and check it out yourself. Personally, I think it's more than worth it in order to support this indie developer. Now, this game isn't perfect by any means, no game truly is. As an indie game with only one developer, you will see some bugs, some glitches, and some overall jank, but that's kind of inevitable in a game like this. But I think the content and the gameplay loop more than make up for it. Have you ever played Convergence before? If you have, let me know down in the comments below. If not, I would very highly recommend it if you enjoy these kinds of games. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.